Hi, I'm Mike with Morgan Inspection Services. Do you have a sprinkler zone or station that is not working? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that. It's normally a pretty simple thing. Do the obvious first. Make sure you've got water to your sprinkler system. Make sure you've got electricity to your control panel. If all the other zones are working, then you know that you do have power and water to your system. Before we get into all the troubleshooting, let me tell you one thing to do. Just make sure that the wires are tight where they're connected to your control panel. You don't want to go off on a wild goose chase looking for solenoids and replacing solenoids and things if all it is a loose wire. So do that first. It may save you some time. Next thing you want to do is make sure that solenoid is getting water. Make sure there's not a problem with a pipe or a clog or something. So what you need to do is find the solenoid, and it's either going to be at a manifold, which is above ground, or it's going to be typically under a green lid about 6 inches in diameter. Now often the first challenge in fixing a zone that doesn't work is figuring out which solenoid controls that zone. So let me tell you a couple of things that might help you find that. Find the wire color that's attached to that zone. In my case it's zone 3 and we've got a blue wire here. And then you go out and look at your manifold or open up the green covers that give you access to the solenoids and look for a blue wire attached to that solenoid. And that should be the correct one. And then you can verify that by opening the bleed valve or turning the solenoid a quarter turn. Most solenoids will cause the water to start spraying, or that zone to start spraying, if you turn the solenoid a quarter turn. And by doing that, if that zone, that non-working zone comes on when you turn the solenoid or open the bleed valve, then you know you've found the right solenoid to work on. And in our case, again, it's a blue wire, so we're going to go out and check solenoids until we find that blue wire. Okay, so now we just need to find the solenoid that controls zone 3. Zone 3 is in my backyard, so I'm going to start out here. And I know I've got 2 stations right here. So let's take a look at those. Okay, remember we're looking for a blue wire. Now you can't always count on wire color, because I have seen where they've made a splice somewhere upstream, but if you look here, we've got the white wire, the common, and then we've got yellow wires. So that is not a blue wire, so we'll go to the next one. Next one's right beside it. So let's open up this one, check the wire colors, and hopefully they'll match. Okay, here's our blue wire. Okay, so let's check, make sure we're getting water to the solenoid. So here's the bleed valve. You can turn it and you can hear water running through it. So we're getting water to here. And this right here is the solenoid. You can turn it a quarter of a turn also to turn the water on. Okay, so we've verified that we're getting water to here. So water supply is not the issue. Okay, so we verified that we're getting water to the solenoid. Next thing we need to do is check the electrical. So come into your control panel and you want to check the voltage that the control panel is sending out to zone 3. The voltage should be around 24 volts. Typically anything between about 20 and 30 volts is considered good. It takes 17 to 18 volts to open the solenoid. So you need a multimeter. You want to put it on volts AC, and it's zone 3 that we're interested in. So you want to turn zone 3 on, and you're going to measure between the common screw, which is basically the neutral, and the screw for zone 3, which is where this blue wire is connected. Okay, we've got 31 volts. Let's check the others just out of curiosity, and to do that you need to turn the others on. We'll just start with zone 4 here. Okay, we've got 29 volts. Let's go to zone 1. 31 volts. And zone 2, 29 volts. So we've got between 29 and 31 volts on all 4 stations. So we know the controller is sending the power out to the solenoid. Okay, so another thing you can do is check the resistance of the wiring from the control panel to your solenoid and back. And to do that, you want to set your multimeter on ohms, which is the resistance reading. And just so there's no chance of interference from the circuitry, I'm going to unplug this. And what you want to do, again, you're measuring between the common and the wire. So let's start on one that is good, one that's running. We'll just go to zone 4 here. Okay, you can see it's got a resistance of 26 ohms. Let's try another one, zone 2. Again, 26 ohms. Now the one we're interested in, zone 3, that is 350 kilo ohms. So that means 366,000 ohms. That's very high resistance and indicates there's a wiring problem. Maybe a partially broken wire, but that's definitely an indication of a problem. So we don't know if the problem is between here and the solenoid or if it's the solenoid itself. So we need to go out to the solenoid and we'll test it out there. So what we want to do is we're going to disconnect these. Okay, so these are the wires that belong to the solenoid, and these are the 2 that come from the controller. So now we're going to check the voltage on those and see what we get. Okay, so I've set zone 3 to running. You've got to have power coming to this in order to check the voltage. Look at that. We've got about 10 volts. All the others, well, we're getting 30 volts at the controller, but only 10 volts here. So we've definitely got a wire problem. Another thing we can do, we can check the resistance of the solenoid. That should be somewhere between 20 and 50 ohms. We've got 25 ohms, so this solenoid is good. So the wiring is definitely the problem. Okay, so I'm lucky on this because we've got some spare wires in here, so I'm not going to have to run a new wire. But if all your wires were used, then you would have to run a new wire from the controller out to this station, and that's not a real easy thing to do. But I've got a couple of spare wires in here, and I'm just going to use this brown one here. But first, let's go back into the garage and look at the controller and make sure that that brown wire is not being used. Okay, so here we are. We do have 2 spare wires, and the brown is one of them. We knew that that was the case, but just wanted to verify before I started cutting wires. So what we're going to do, we're going to strip a little bit of the insulation off this wire, and then we're going to take the blue wire loose and insert the brown wire in its place. So it's just a matter of pulling that one out and putting the brown one in. Make sure you get it good and tight. You want a good connection. Okay, that's tight. Okay, now we'll go back outside and replace that blue wire with this brown wire, and this project should be complete. So we're going to strip just a little bit of the insulation off, maybe just a little more than that. And we'll wrap this around it, get it good and tight, cut the tip of the wire off. Then I'm going to use one of these special wire nuts. It's not just a wire nut, it's got a grease sealant inside to help to waterproof these connections. And I'm also going to tape these up with some electrical tape. Okay, let's get this neutral wire put back together. Again, same thing, just twist it around there real good. All right, that connection ought to be good and waterproof. Okay, we'll just put these back into here. Close up the box, and let's go turn our zone 3 on and see what happens. So that's how you diagnose and repair a sprinkler zone that's not working. You've got to make sure electricity and water are getting to the solenoid and that there's no mechanical problem with the solenoid. And then if you've determined that there is an electrical issue, you've got to determine if it's the controller, the wiring, or the solenoid itself. You may need to replace a solenoid. And I do have a separate video showing how to do that. And I've also got a PDF in the description to this video that walks you through each of the troubleshooting steps that I just went through. I hope you've learned something in this video, and I hope it helps you to diagnose and repair your own non-working sprinkler zone. I really do appreciate you watching, and I sure would appreciate a thumbs up. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel so you'll be notified when I publish new videos. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.